Hello and welcome to WTF. Today we have a few things for you. My shit all sorted. My YouTube sorted. Just so I see the chat pop up. There we go. Oh wow, no. Actually we have a lag. There we go. I think it's caught up. It's caught up with the Anywho. So, I hope everybody's doing okay. I know there's one person watching, so hello to them. Oh, I'm sure. Let's see. I guess we'll start off with a scandal. Hello, tactical technician, and Darth, and H7. So that's just going to be so much easier to say. Anyway, nice to see y'all here. So, in news, apparently some asshole decided he was going to take relief funds and spend it on, yeah, Lamborghinis and strip clubs. He is going to be facing some time in jail. And he should. You're an asshole if you steal from a charity. Straight up. So he will probably be prosecuted in Houston, I do believe. 29 years old. That's a nice young age to just throw your life away for an asshole scam. Good job, Dick. Awesome. Hey, Aunt Jazzy and Trap. Mwah. How are you doing? As you can see, some asshole in Texas is going to get his comeuppance. That's always nice. Let's see. Oh, and if y'all remember the situation that went off in Minnesota, I do believe, where there was an issue going on between house owners and Antifa members, and the house owners were basically keeping them at bay with weapons, and then they got charged. And as far as I know, Minnesota allows you to be in your yard and defend your shit. Then I've got an article for you. He's being charged. Now, in LA, they are way more strict about their gun rules, I do believe, in Minnesota. Okay. What I've heard. Hello, Helen, how are you? Yeah, politicians being politicians. Well, I don't necessarily have a problem with someone pulling a gun on somebody if your life is in danger. I just think it's interesting that if, let's say, I was in LA and I had pulled a gun to protect myself, I'd be going to jail. And these particular people would probably, prosecutors and everybody would probably be crucifying me. Look at her face. This is probably the look she legit had on her face when she heard the news about that. I think this is funny. I do. Like, I wonder if they have any sympathy for the people in Minnesota who were trying to defend their property now. Probably not. But it seems great. Aha. Anyway, hey Slasher. Hey Dark Hatcher, how are you? So, the other day, I do believe yesterday, because my days run together like shit, we heard that 50 people were killed and almost 3,000 injured. And I figured that number was going to be a lot higher. And it is a bit higher indeed. So, most current news, and remember, I also said nobody was taking responsibility for it. Anything that starts off with the word fact checker probably is translated code for this is a story we're going to fucking tell you, and this is a story we want you to tell everyone else, and this is what you're going to believe. Okay, so apparently explosion was not a nuclear blast. Well, we probably figured that out pretty quick. You figure out really quick if something's a nuke or not. Saying, birds don't exactly fly and butterflies and shit. Shit gonna get fucked. Anyway, but in Lebanon, apparently it was ammonium nitrate stored in a warehouse was the cause. Okay. I'm gonna pretend I don't know much about this, I really don't. But I probably know more than I should. You kind of need something to detonate that. Okay? Ammonium nitrate is basically fertilizer. It's processed and done in such fashion. But basically, it's fertilizer. But you need something to an ignition source of some kind. Things don't just go poof. This isn't a grain silo where you end up with like some spark and some static and an ignited fucking silo full of grain. This is ammonium nitrate, okay? Listen, not to be a dick, but I'm from Oklahoma. We had the whole Murrah building thing, and it's pretty much the only thing we're famous for is the Murrah building bombing and fucking tornadoes. And ammonium nitrate is, I don't know which way to say point, was ammonium nitrate. So it just sitting in a warehouse, decomposing over time, doesn't cause an explosion. Somebody did something stupid and set it off. Now, I don't know if it was on purpose or some night watchman at the warehouse was smoking a cigarette and fucking flipped the cigarette. I don't fucking know how these things go off, but I know they need something. And I can tell you what, it's just sitting there collecting dust. Because it's ammonium nitrate, basically manure process, like synthesized manure, basically. The certain, it's like extract. Kind of hard to explain. Anyway, over time, biologicals just break down and get weaker. They don't just for no fucking reason. And especially since if you look here and here, it looks like two separate explosions. And here they say where in warehouse, stored in the warehouse. That looks like two separate explosions, actually. And even this part over here is pretty red. Not even facing where the explosion's at. So it's pretty red. So I don't know if they're using maybe a stock photo or what, but it looks like two separate buildings, mile or two apart, are on fire. Now, I think this is bullshit. I think that something happened and they don't want anyone to know what it was. But who sits around with a fuck ton, and for this much damage, it would have to be a fuck ton of ammonium nitrate. Why would you just have that sitting there stored in a warehouse collecting dust? So apparently, it just went off somehow. Okay. Anyway, and our final little bit of news, or at least there was a fire. Well, that's what I'm saying. Or maybe at least someone flicked a cigarette and somehow something caught on fire. But things don't just go poof without something to ignite it. It just doesn't happen. Even a silo fire, some kind of little spark of electricity has to happen to set the fucking thing on fire. Something has to happen. Things don't just poof. They don't sit in a warehouse for years and then poof. Doesn't make sense to me. Especially not ammonium nitrate. Anyways, let's see. Okay, sure. It was two explosions. Exactly. They're talking about it was in a warehouse. All right. So this is what, maybe 2-3 miles from each other. Actually, this is actually way over, and this is actually a little closer. Look, this one's looking further back. So maybe 5 miles apart. Okay. So two warehouses? Are they telling us that two warehouses maybe went up? Or is it the warehouse is like 5 miles fucking long? That's bigger than a fucking Costco. I don't know. Looks like fucking shit to me. Like I said, anything that starts off with fact checker is, hey, this is what you're going to believe. And this is the story we're telling you. And they can all suck it. Okay. So, and for our last little smidgy bit of news, sorry, Australia. Australia has lost its fucking mind again, or at least parts of it. They have decided to, as you can see, this is not good. So they're basically martial lawing shit in Melbourne, forcing people to stay in, and yeah. I mean, haven't they been pretty strict so far, and still things haven't gotten better? I guess let's just keep doubling down, tripling down, and maybe it'll get better. See, there's so many things I want to say. And a lot of things that Australia could have done to prevent insane shit and overreach government, but they probably would have had to start up 30 years ago. I'm leaving it at that. Sorry, Australia. Anyways, so that's our news in the world today. And so had no power for the storm yesterday. Indeed. Yes. Let me close that part down. Yes, and poor Slasher here, our sweetest Bronx boy ever, has had storms that went up the East Coast. That apparently they're probably the same storm that caused the tornado in one of the Carolinas yesterday or day before, has reached him and is fucking up everybody's power. So at least everybody from Carolinas, Jersey on up is catching some shit. So we send our hugs to Slasher. That's true. California is never doing much better. It really never is. Hello, Lady Q. How are you, darling? Ah, sorry, I have e-bass pop up. Oh, that's that's a lot. That's a fucking lot. I'm surprised the entire and here's where I'm at. That right there should have leveled some buildings. Because here in Oklahoma, when the Ryder truck was had ammonium nitrate in the back, the federal building, I can't really give you an example of how big it is, but it was probably like Walmart, your average super Walmart, like wide and about 4 or 5 tall of that. And it literally almost down the middle leveled half of that. So this means the same. The amount should have wiped out probably 2 or 3 city blocks in level buildings. So this doesn't look. Well, at least we haven't really. I've seen some pictures, and it doesn't look quite like that. So maybe it was a missile attack. Maybe they're lying about what actually exploded. Because I mean, for a bit there, they weren't sure what. How do you not know a warehouse just blew up with a bunch of ammonium nitrate? That's something you kind of know pretty soon, I reckon. So it took them like what, 2 or 3 days to come up with that story. So bam. Nobody can even tell the fucking truth. I try to tell the truth, or at least I try to honestly tell you what I think the truth is. Yeah. Yeah, alright, yeah, see? Well, there was, yeah, so it leveled like that, just 2 tons of that. Keep trying to point in the wrong spot. Leveled half a building. So the amount he is saying, I am not entirely sure. I am not good on measuring explosive pressure. DJ Odyssey! Ah! Yes. I think it was. Thank you! Dr. Technician says it also, he thinks it was like, because that's what I'm saying, like, a warehouse, like one huge billowing smoke spot, and a bunch of shit fucked, is what I would expect from a warehouse fire. This was 2 separate locations, one looking like it's about 3 miles forward, maybe a little bit further back. There were like billowing smoke. That looks like 2 separate buildings on fire, far from each other. That doesn't sound like one explosion. Ooh, that's... I wouldn't be surprised if they tried. Most likely. And unless we know and start investigating what's been going on in Lebanon recently, including their politics, we may not have even an idea of who might have started it. Because they probably might not have done it themselves. Too fast for a low-flying bird. Depends on what sort of bird you're talking about. I mean, we have some helicopters that could swoop in and shoot some missiles. We have like Apaches or something. And that's if it's even us doing it. It may not be. It could be the Israeli army. The Israeli army is always trying to start shit with people. Sorry, not not the Israeli people. It's the government, not the individual people. Sorry. It's always the government that starts this shit. Almost always. It's not regular people like you and me doing this shit. We got other shit to do. It's always not like, oh, there's not enough trouble going on. Hey, we've not had any real drama or hit the headlines since the 70s or 80s. Let's make some shit happen. Anyway, So that's my fluff talk for the news and what I think of it. And here in a little while, I will hopefully start another live stream, and we can sit and bullshit and chat. I do have a couple things on the topic I will take care of because it is 2 o'clock, and God knows how long I'll be on. They slowed down last night, looking for any sign of missile of plane. Lady Q, where are you? She slowed the footage down. Well, it doesn't mean it couldn't have been from higher up. So, not low flying necessarily. But the point, nonetheless, is, I mean, hell, someone could have set a bomb to detonate if they knew if those did happen to store that in the warehouse and someone knew it. No, 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 no. I didn't ask you what you were. I asked you where you were. I'm sorry. I asked you where you were. Because I thought at first that maybe you were actually like near Lebanon and that you had seen like firsthand some of the stuff that went on. That's what I was asking. But videographers are cool shit. But anyways, lots of hugs. This stream needs a cool intro and outro. I don't know how to make it do that. Like I've checked in cards and they were like processing. They this won't work. It doesn't work for me. So maybe I'll try playing music or some shit. I'm in Central Florida. Everybody's in fucking Florida. What in the hell? They're either on the East Coast or Florida. I swear to God, it's the weirdest shit. I know, like, maybe 2 people on the East Coast or West Coast. There's like, you know, okay, tactical detonation is a neighbor. He's in the next state over from me. So, anyways, so almost everybody. Anyway, with lots of hugs to all. Love y'all, and I will try to be on later.